Hello everybody, this is Ross.
And this is Fedor. We're coming to you from cheapwatchreviews.com.
And today we're going to be looking at the Seiko 50 Fathoms sports/dive style watch. I wanted to start by talking a little bit about the Seiko 5 line, which is the relatively less expensive automatic Seiko watches that tend to have a very similar kind of features and specifications, including they're all 23 jeweled automatic in-house Seiko movements with a variety of different styles, but they all tend to have day-to-day complications, tend to be pretty reliable, pretty accurate, and pretty high quality for a watch that you can get for typically under $150 or under $100 sometimes.
So let's go over the specifications quickly. So we've got a fairly substantial 41mm case, which is, of course, as most watches in this range, brushed stainless steel. We have 22mm lug spacing and 14mm width. So we also have a screw down display case back, so you can see the unfortunately unfinished movement, but that's of course to be expected at the price point. And it's a fairly substantial weight, similar to the Mako, but made by Orient, which weighs around 160-170 grams, including the stainless bracelet.
So this is, like I said, a dive style, but it tends to be considered a vintage dive style. And in fact, it's borrowed, to use the term loosely, a lot of the design cues from a very famous vintage dive watch. Do you want to?
Yeah, it was originally made by Blancpain, which is a Swiss brand, and the watch was called the 50 Fathoms, made famous by Jacques Cousteau in the 50s. And yeah, so I guess this was loosely based on it, and I guess the watch fans have given it the nickname the Seiko 55 Fathoms, actually.
Yep, because it's a Seiko 5.
Yeah, so haha, it's like a play on words and on Jacques Cousteau.
Right.
Joke's on him.
Right, joke's on him. He accomplished nothing. You'll see that it does have your kind of standard dive style unidirectional rotating bezel. It only has 100 meters of water resistance, so this isn't a true dive style watch. I really wouldn't even go swimming with it, just in case.
Yeah, it doesn't even have a screw down crown. So just to give you an idea, you have to remember that it is a dive style watch. Pulls it off great, but without the screw down crown, I would not trust the watch to even go for a light swim.
Yep, but you'll see the crown, which is not screwed down, is at the 3 o'clock position. It's not decorated. But you know, it looks like your standard Seiko 5 crown. The movement is a 23 jeweled Seiko in-house 7S36B. Tends to be pretty reliable, pretty accurate, like most of the Seiko 5s and most of the Seiko watches. You know, I tend to see about plus 8 seconds a day, which, you know, is pretty good. I think they tend to be rated to be much less accurate than that, so it's great to see that they do pretty well there. It also has a 3 o'clock day-date complication, which is also very common of these Seiko 5 watches.
Now, once again, in case you've watched more than one of our reviews, you tend to notice that we complain about the bracelets on all of these, and this one actually hasn't even been taken out of the wrapper, but it has the same type of feel as some of the cheaper watches. That's just what you get because the last thing you want them to skimp on is the movement and the actual case itself, so the bracelets tend to be a little bit cheaper. But it's a 22mm oyster style bracelet, of course, at the price point. Once again, has a hollow end links, which aren't quite as nice, but it does have solid links, and it does have an engraved 3 folding clasp with a push button release. But it doesn't feel as substantial as it could. There's no dive extension because it's just a dive style watch, and yeah.
In terms of the dial, this is really kind of the coolest part of these watches. Now we've got the blue one here, and you'll see it has this very kind of cool glowing metallic finish, which I love. I think that looks great. Really kind of catches your attention. You'll notice that the rotating bezel also has a blue hue to it. Now you can also get this in a black version, and a gold version. And you can also get two special versions where the actual case and the strap is gold, or it's ion plated black. So there's kind of a lot of different varieties you can go for in terms of the face. The hands are pretty much a complete replica of the original 50 Fathoms, and I love the style. I think it looks really cool. And it's got a semi-domed Hardex material or mineral crystal here, so it's not the sapphire, of course, but you know, you wouldn't expect that for a watch in this price range. A little bit of distortion when you kind of get on the edge here, but you know, overall pretty good. Obviously not AR coated, so it does get a little bit of reflection, but overall not too bad. There's Loom on the hands and the indices. It tends to be pretty good. You know, Seiko's Loom is great. It's not going to, you know, maybe compare to the Orange Monster or the Black Monster or the Spork or some of their, you know, more expensive divers, but you know, tends to outperform a lot of the other competitors for the price point.
Now, with this watch, once again, it's very comfortable to wear, like most Seikos are. It has a nice balance on the wrist. It is a little bit top heavy with the bracelet, and most of the bulk does come from the head of the watch. Now, it does sit very nicely on the wrist, and if we can get a little bit of a view of the case back here, it is an undecorated movement, like previously stated, but it is a very accurate, very reliable movement. 20, like was stated earlier, 23 jewel, and tends to keep great time. The watch has a nice wrist presence. Not too terribly thick on the wrist, as you can see. And it definitely sits pretty. It's a nice looking watch. In another video, we're going to do a review of what the Seiko 55 Fathoms actually looks like, and what it is exactly. And yeah, so do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I would say the overall fit and finish of this is nice. You know, you're going to experience probably similar fit and finish for any of the Seiko 5 lines. You know, some of them don't have solid links. This one does, so it does have a nicer bracelet than some of the lesser expensive ones. You know, the bezel feels pretty good turning. You know, it's not incredible, it's not mind-blowing, but you're not going to hate it. It has pretty good feedback. It maybe feels a little light, but you know, again, for the price point, it's about what you would expect. You know, I think really kind of the case and the face are what makes this watch really nice. And the other thing is, you know, you can kind of dress up. You can get a different bracelet if you don't like it, and that sort of thing. So it's really kind of a very nice watch, a great tool watch.
Yep, couldn't agree more. Fun watch to have for an inexpensive price, and that's what we do best. So I hope you've enjoyed this review. See you in the next one.